welcome to the Fanny's Real Fitness YouTube channel. I'm going to start the first of my demonstrations where every good workout should start, and that's with some foam rolling. So let's crack straight on. We're going to come down onto the floor. We're going to work down the back of the legs to start off with. So pop one leg onto the roller, one leg on the floor if you're starting out with foam rolling. As you get more advanced, you might want to add a little bit more weight in by just popping another leg on top. And we're just going to roll up and down and side to side along the whole muscle area, so the back of the calf. Do that maybe about 5 or 6 times, and then you're going to move the roller up to the back of the thigh or the hamstring area and do exactly the same thing. So we're going up and down with a little bit side to side. Now I don't want to go too fast because we don't want to overexcite these muscles or these tissues. So nice steady pace. And same thing on the other leg. So while I'm doing that leg, I'll explain to you why you might want to foam roll. So foam rolling is also, or it's officially known as self-myofacial release. And that's referring to the tissue, the fascia or the myofacial tissue, which surrounds or encapsulates the muscle. And what we're trying to do is just to warm that up, soften it a little bit, and elongate it a little bit before we do a workout, so that the muscle can then perform as it's supposed to. Okay, so we've done down the back of the legs. We're going to sit on the roller now and work into the bum or the glute area. So first of all, just sit it on, and you can just work into one side, up and down, and the other. If you're somebody that does a lot of sitting at a desk or in a car, you might think, or even somebody that's quite active, does quite a lot of sport, you might find that it's a bit kind of crunchy and knobbly in those glute areas. So give that a really nice big roll out. And then if you want to, this is kind of like an added optional stretch, you can just pop the foot of one leg onto the knee of the other, and then just roll into that glute area a little bit more. This is adding in a piriformis stretch and getting really nice and deep into the glutes. So that's just an extra if you wanted to do that. Now if you do find you've got tension or tightness or knots in this area or any of the areas, then just have a little hold on those really painful points. As long as it's bearable, you might find that it's, it can be quite painful, but as long as you can bear it, doesn't feel like you're doing any harm, obviously, just stick with that. Take some deep breaths, and hopefully you should find that you get a little bit of a release. So the tissue responds to extreme stretch or pressure, and gives this kind of like automatic release, which is what we're looking for. Okay, so once you've done into that glute area, come onto the top of your hip. We're going to work down the side of the leg. We're going to start off just by working into that nice fleshy area, just above the hip bone. Give that a little bit of a rock backwards and forwards, maybe up and down a touch. And then we're going to work down the side of the leg. Now down the side of the leg is something called the IT band. You might have heard that banded around. Lots of people talk about having an IT band. Now I'm no physio, but it's my understanding that you don't have a tight IT band, but the sort of insertion points either side of the IT band can become tighter, hence that sort of pulling feeling. So you can't lengthen the IT band, but you can sort of soften and work into the tissue above and below. So that's what we're going to do. So once you've done the side, just above the kneecap there, you can roll over onto the front, and we're going to work our way down the quads. So up and down the front of the leg, and like I'm doing here, you can either keep one knee on the floor, or you can add more pressure onto that by just lifting up that other leg. Whatever feels right for you. Same thing on the other side. So we're going to work down the front, all the way from the top of the knee into the hip. You've got quite a sort of tender area around there called that's sort of like the psoas area. It's absolutely fine to give that a little bit of a roll and a bit of pressure as well. And then obviously into the side there, starting at the knee, and then up at that fleshy bit of the hip. Okay, also on the side, we're going to work down into the lower part of the leg, so the side of the shin or the calf muscle. So another area that can kind of come up as tight for people as well. So, and as you can see, I'm keeping one foot on the floor, or I can pop that on top. Okay, last one on the legs. We're going to turn the roller this way around, And you're going to come forward facing onto the roller, one leg extended out behind you, and then bend at the knee, and you're just going to cock that leg onto the roller. Not very glamorous, I'm afraid, but it can be worth it, particularly if you've got tightness in the adductors. So working from the knee all the way up into the groin, backwards and forwards. Make sure you cover in the whole area. Okay, same thing on the other side. And then we're going to work down the back. So I'm going to turn the roller that way around. And we're going to sit back onto the roller. Bending the legs at the knees, feet on the floor, hands on the floor. And then you're just going to work your way down. So obviously be careful if you've got any back issues, particularly lower back issues. And you also need a certain amount of kind of core strength to hold yourself in this position. So you might find it a bit awkward to get into at first. But if you follow my next video, which is going to be working on core strength, then hopefully you can build up to doing this a bit more. So you can keep your elbows on the floor as well, just to take a little bit of weight off. And just working into the fleshy areas at the lower part of the back, and then moving up to the upper part of the back. Again, if you're somebody that does a lot of sitting, working at a desk, over a computer, that type of thing, you might find that you spend a lot of time in this forward rounded shoulder position. So if you do, you possibly carry a lot of tension in the back of your shoulders. So this is a great opportunity to ease out that tension, get rid of any knots, any grizzly bits that you can feel, just really roll into those. It's like getting a nice massage. And move the arms about so that you can get those shoulder blades into different positions and work into those muscles around there. So all the way up into the neck. Nearly there. We're just going to turn the roller that way around again, and then just place your spine along the roller. And I like to just stretch your arms out to the side, and assuming you've got no problems with your neck, just let your neck drop off the back of there as well. So what you're doing here is you're getting a really nice chest stretch. You're opening out those shoulders out from that rounded forward position into a nice open position, and you're also getting a nice extension of the neck as well, which is quite a rare position for people to be in. So as long as that feels comfortable. And you can give it a little roll side to side as well, give it a little massage either side of the spine. And then last one, we're just going to turn the roller this way around and work into the side of the ribs and just under it up into the armpits. So one arm up above your head. Can be quite painful this at first actually. All of them can be at first, but stick with it because I promise you it does get easier, it does get more comfortable. And then just roll into the side of the ribs and up into the shoulder, or the armpit I should say. Same thing on the side. So, just to recap, foam roll before you do a workout, to warm up, to elongate those tissues. If you've got any particular tight areas, spend a little bit more time on those. If you have injuries, if you have knee problems, hip problems, things like that, work those areas and really try and release any tight spots that you find. But just one word of caution, don't overdo it. What we don't want to do is overexcite those muscles and cause them to tighten up even more. So just keep it fairly light and nice and slow. Okay, that's it. You are now ready to work out. So if you like my video, please do like it and please do share it. And keep a lookout for my future videos that will be coming very soon. And don't forget you can also check me out on Instagram and Facebook, Twitter, and also at my blog, all under the name of Fanny's Real Food and Fanny's Real Fitness. Thanks for checking in.